Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. This is the Undeclared Business session for Accepted Students Day. I am recording the session just so you're aware for people who can't join, or you might even want to go back and watch this if you missed something that was discussed. So just to give a heads up on that. My name is Mary Lehr-Furtado. I'm the coordinator for Undergraduate Advising for the School of Business, and I advise all of the Undeclared Business students until they're accepted into their majors, at which point then everybody's advised by a faculty advisor. So I'm going to go through a few slides with you today. I really want to leave a good amount of time at the end for questions, especially for our peer mentors. So I'm going to try to give a little snapshot of what your first year at TCNJ would look like, a little bit of overview about us, and then leave plenty of time for Q&A. So again, if at any point in time you want to turn your camera on and ask questions, please feel free. You can also ask questions in the chat. If I don't see them while I'm presenting, we'll be sure to address them towards the end. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do a share screen, and we'll just move through the slides real quick. All right. So again, this is for the Undeclared Business students. All right, so within the School of Business, just to give you a quick overview, we have about between 1,200 and 1,300 students, give or take, depending on the year. We had 43 undeclared business freshmen in fall of 2020. So there's a good size of the freshman class. And I'm going to give a little overview of all the different majors and their numbers for the freshmen. We have an internal change of major application process each semester. I'll talk a little bit more about that as well, but it's very common to change your major. Very, very common. Even if you come in under a certain major, you could still change. So you don't have to be undeclared to change. It's very common to change. But it is good to come in undeclared business if you're leaning towards business, but you're not quite sure which area of business you want to major in. And even still, if you get into undeclared business and you decide business isn't for me, you could change into a different major as well and go through those application procedures. Okay, so these are our business majors that we offer within TCNJ School of Business. We have a Bachelor of Science in Accounting. We have Economics. We offer a Bachelor of Science and a Bachelor of Arts. The Bachelor of Science has more of the business core background to it, where you take financial accounting, managerial accounting, finance management, and so forth. Within the BA, you could also opt to do just the BA, that's totally fine, or you could pursue secondary education, or you could come in under the 7-year medical program within the Economics Bachelor of Arts degree program. We also have business administration, which is a Bachelor of Science degree. And within business administration, we have management, marketing, finance, and interdisciplinary business. Interdisciplinary business allows you to still have that strong business core to your education, but then you could also do something outside of business and combine it with the business degree program. So there's a lot of great options for that. So those are our majors. Here's a little snapshot of our freshman students from this past fall semester. So we had a total of 236 freshmen. Out of them, there were 48 accounting students, 17 within all of the economics programs, 37 in finance, 12 interdisciplinary business, 38 management, 41 marketing, and undeclared business had 43. So we're a pretty good group in terms of numbers with the freshman students. It's common to come in as undeclared business. Oops. Okay, so this is where I want to get into academics in terms of what you would be taking in your fall semester if you choose TCNJ. So we have an orientation seminar. I'm going to save the info on that for another slide. I have more info on that, but you take that class, which is a 0 credit requirement for all incoming business majors. And then you would either take micro or macro. You would take calculus or your math placement course. You might have to take a class before calculus and then you'd work your way up to calc, but all business majors are required to take calc within their degree program. And then we have what we call liberal learning, which is like a general education type course. So you're going to have classes to satisfy for that part of your degree program. Typically, you would take one of those in your fall semester. And then you would take a writing placement exam. So depending on where you place with writing, you would either take your first year writing course if you need to take that, or you would take your first year seminar course. Moving along to the spring. In the spring, you would then take another 0 credit required course, Business Colloquium. It's a professional development course. You would then take micro or macro, whichever one you didn't take in the fall semester. Typically, statistics might be in there. And then you start to get your feet wet in some of the intro business courses. So it's typical to take like management, marketing, information systems you could take. And then let me move along. And then we have the financial accounting. You might start taking that class as well. Then you would take, if you needed to take your first year writing class in the fall semester, depending on your placement, then you would take your first year seminar course in your spring semester. If you took your first year seminar course in your fall, then you would take maybe another liberal learning. You could take a free elective course at that point, especially if you were interested in something outside of business. You might want to dabble in, potentially do a minor in that. That would be a great time to do that as well. So that's what your first year would look like in terms of academics. We also have, I have 3 of our peer mentors with us now, so we'll introduce them in just a little bit. We have a really great peer mentor program on campus within the School of Business. So we had 47 peer mentors this past academic year. We're actually in recruitment season now for our new peer mentors who will be joining our returners. We have some grads on here too, who will be leaving us, Meg and Matt. But the peer mentor program, every incoming freshman business major gets paired with a mentor. And then the mentors guide them through the Business 99 course, the orientation seminar. They work in teams with about 5 to 6 mentees per team. So they help ease the transition to college life and the School of Business. They're a great go-to resource person if incoming freshmen aren't sure who to turn to, if they need a specific office or help. They're really great for that. They also encourage involvement in getting involved in the different School of Business clubs, organizations, or other activities across campus. And then they even help with professional development. So we have mentors help with resumes or just career advice as they start their internship search. Right now, they're helping in the Business 100 class, doing mock interviews with all of the freshmen. So we have a wonderful peer mentor program. You'll get to meet them in a little bit, or 3 of them at least. Okay, so I wanted to delve in a little bit more with the Business 99 class and then the Business 100 class. So as I mentioned, Business 99, all freshmen are kind of in these teams. So they're in smaller teams, about 5 or 6, and then they'll also work with another one of the teams. So there'll be 2 mentors, which normally are about 10 to 12 students, and they'll go through advising type things with how to work PAWS, which is our registration system. They'll talk about campus resources. We normally do a scavenger hunt across campus so that all the freshmen become acclimated with campus and the different offices. What else do? We do teamwork. We have like a teamwork project that we typically do in this class. A lot of good things just to get everybody acclimated to the School of Business. Then in the spring semester, we have Business 100. So this is the professional development seminar course. So within this, we talk about personal branding, your elevator pitch, how to build out your LinkedIn profile, connecting with alumni. We do our mock interviews. We also had major career exploration panels with our different department chairs and then alumni from each of those areas to explore different paths within all of the majors. So we like to cover all of that early on because we found that students are applying for internships earlier and earlier on in their academics. And even still, it's really important early on to get involved in campus and start to build up some of those leadership positions and things like that, so that when it's time to apply for internships, you have a nice fleshed out like resume, which we do in Business 100. We also, for Accounting 291, this is for accounting students. Business 100 isn't required for the accounting majors. Accounting students take Accounting 291 instead. But if you come in undeclared with me, you would take 99 and then Business 100. Okay, so in terms of academic advising, so as I mentioned earlier on, I advise all of the undeclared business students until you move into your major. Then you are going to be assigned to a faculty advisor. They're going to be able to give more career type guidance or maybe talk about grad school specific courses that might be good for you as you move through your major. But you start out with me or stuck with me for the first year or 2, depending on when you change into your major. I do individual advising appointments each semester. So right now we're in our peak advising season with registration. So I'll meet one-on-one with all of my advisees, sometimes more than once a semester. We might touch base depending on what's going on. If you have any academic concerns, you just want to kind of flesh out what you might be interested in terms of your major, career advising, things like that. We'll meet throughout the semester, but I make sure I'm available as many times as you want to meet in the semester is totally fine. We also do group advising sessions in our Business 99 seminar. So we'll do breakouts by each of the majors. And then we'll also have a session with the peer mentors to help you learn how to use our systems on campus. So that's how advising works at TCNJ. We get into this, and I'm going to throw this question at our peer mentors in just a few minutes, but sometimes there's a lot of pressure on what are you going to do with the rest of your life? What do you want your major to be? And there's so much transferability nowadays. You're going to get your feet wet in the introductory coursework. So the nice thing about coming in undeclared business is you're still taking the same classes as all of the business majors within your first year. It's pretty much across the board with all of the business majors. So you're going to get your feet wet in those academic settings. You're also going to have advising with me. And then also our career counselor or career center, they offer career counseling, individual career counseling for everyone. It might be that you talk with different department chairs or faculty. Right now we have our finance department chair on the call, Dr. Choi. So if you're interested in maybe finance, you would reach out to Dr. Choi and set up a meeting with her. But our faculty are very accessible. You can certainly meet with them. It might be networking with alumni. We have a really strong alumni base, which is great. I'm often within my advising appointments, if I have a student say, oh, I'm interested in fashion marketing, I'll connect them with an alum who does fashion marketing, things like that. So we're very fortunate with that. And then also upper class students too. A lot of times it would be the peer mentors might say, well, this is what I did. These are the classes that I took and how I ended up in my degree program. And then it's also informational interviews. So just talking, those casual conversations, you don't even think of as networking so much, but talking to family and friends and seeing what their career path looked like. We also offer a lot of events and guest speakers. We have info sessions and recruiters come to campus. So that can help you as well. And then, of course, putting yourself out there and getting some experience. Sometimes it's an internship. I've had students say, oh, I'm going to do, say, human resources. And then they do a human resources internship and they realize it's really not a good fit for them. So figuring out what you don't like is just as important as figuring out what you do like. There's also externships, sometimes doing case competitions. I know some of our mentors have done some case competitions. That can be helpful as well. Volunteer opportunities, even part-time jobs. Think about what you like, what you don't like, even from high school classes and from those part-time jobs, even like summer positions. Also getting involved in different clubs and organizations. We have a lot within School of Business and we have other ones that are outside School of Business. So that's really important as well. We also, through the Career Center, have self-assessments that you can take, like the Focus 2 assessment is a really popular one. So that's part of the process in terms of thinking about what you want to do. And it could change, and that's okay, especially with the business administration degree programs. There's a lot of overlap in the requirements. So say you apply for marketing and then you take your upper level finance class, like investments, and you love it. So then you could apply into finance. That's okay. We have that happen a lot. Totally fine. So don't stress too much. Within, I mentioned this a little bit before, but we do have a change of major process. So when you really start leaning towards a major, you need to apply for that major. So every semester, there's an application window in which you can apply. And so I will guide you through that process when the time comes to make sure that you're squared away. You know exactly what you need to do to apply. The process is in place to ensure that it's a good fit for you. It's not, to say, oh, you're not going to do, accounting yet. You want to take the accounting class and see if you really like it. So it's just about finding the best fit for you. And again, that could change. Okay, so this is my last slide here. I want to get our peer mentors in here. I'm going to do a stop share. So again, if you want to turn your camera on and just ask a question and unmute yourself, that is perfectly fine. I wanted to leave plenty of time for questions. So please feel free to speak up, or you could simply just throw it in the chat and we'll make sure to address it. So I'm going to go ahead and let our mentors introduce themselves. We have Annetta, Megan, and Matt with us. So if the three of you could introduce yourselves, talk about what your current major is, if you have a minor, and some of your involvement on campus. So Annetta, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. So hi guys, congratulations on your acceptance to TCNJ. My name is Annetta. I am a sophomore management major with an emphasis in human resource management, and I also minor in Spanish. I am involved as the president of the Society for Human Resource Management. I am also a research assistant in the accounting department, and I was involved with student government for about a year. And I'm also a peer mentor.
Thank you so much. Megan.
All right. Hi, everyone. Just like Annetta said, congratulations on getting accepted into TCNJ. So I'm a senior finance major, marketing minor. A few things I'm involved in on campus are peer mentors. I'm the co-president of Beta Gamma Sigma, which is a honor society for upperclassmen. We can touch on that later if anyone has any questions. And then I started off playing lacrosse on the women's varsity team for the first 2 years. And then I decided to accept an opportunity and continue to work instead of playing lacrosse. So I definitely have got my feet wet in a few different things across campus. But again, congratulations.
Matt,
I'm going
take
to
it
give
away.
you one more congratulations. So yes, congratulations for being accepted to TCNJ. I hope you're all very proud of yourselves as we are. I am Matt Kohler. I am a senior, sadly, bittersweet, finance major, minor in financial accounting. I did come in undeclared. Back then it was open options. I am the mentor development director of the Peer Mentor program, this lovely program. And I'm also the president of club volleyball.
Thank you so much. So we do have a question in the chat. Keep them coming. Do you recommend to do a double major for students who are undecided? I think it really depends because that's a pretty big commitment to get into. I would say it'd be really good to do an intro level course in something else that you're considering, and then to kind of feel it out and see if you want to pursue a double major, or maybe you just want to do a minor, and that's okay too. But that would be really heavy on the academic side, and that's okay if that's what your goal is. But it'll depend on yourself and your interest in how you want to integrate that into the other things that you're doing outside of the classroom as well. Mentors, do you want to add anything to that?
I just wanted to add, because some of the majors within the business school, right, Mary, you can't double major. So go ahead, you could talk about it too.
No, that's a really great point. I wasn't thinking about that. That was a really great point. Thanks, Matt. So you can only have 3 course units overlap. We speak in terms of units. You're going to hear that a lot, where 1 unit equals 4 credits. We're on a 4 credit system. Some schools are on a 4 credit system and some are on a 3 credit system. So you can only have 3 essentially courses overlap between majors. So the only major, if you're thinking within the School of Business, that you could do a double major in would be the Economics BA, the Bachelor of Arts. It doesn't have the same business core to it. The requirements are a little bit different, so you don't have as much overlap. So that would be the only one within business that you could do a double major in. You could do something outside of business with a business degree program. That would be fine. Like we might have somebody do the marketing BS and then also want to do communication studies. We see that happen pretty commonly. It's good, I think, to get outside of business if you're going to do a double major, just to show a little bit more breadth anyway. But yeah. Okay, I'm just going to keep my eye on the chat. I do have a couple set questions for our mentors to talk about. I want you all to talk about what helped you decide on your major, what kind of different activities or classes or internships, things like that. How did you land on your major? And I'll leave it to you as to who wants to go first.
I can go. Mary touched on different ways you can determine, how to decide a major. I also, just like Matt said, I came in as an open options business major. Also, Mary's the best, super helpful with all of that stuff. So shout out to you, Mary. But for me personally, how I decided was by going through just those 201 courses. So Mary kind of alluded to them. That's your finance, that's your marketing management. And after I took the finance class, I was like, oh, I'm really interested in this, and just kind of ran with it and never looked back. And I'm happy with the decision I made. So that was my personal experience. But Matt, I know you were open options, and that I'm unsure, but I'm not sure if your experience differs, Matt.
Another, do you want to go?
You can go first. I'll go after you.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Yeah, so same thing. I took both of the 201 classes before deciding. And when we say 201, that's like the entry level classes for each of the majors. And unfortunately, my high school didn't have an accounting class. I know that's actually pretty common for them to have accounting classes, but where I went to high school, we didn't have an accounting class. So I had no kind of understanding of what I really wanted to do going into college. Therefore, I went undeclared. But in addition to to taking the 201 classes, I also was lucky enough to have an internship in accounting. Not really accounting, it was audit. And that kind of helped me make my decision as to whether or not I wanted to stick kind of in that career path or go toward finance. And I ultimately ended up choosing finance. But one thing I wanted to touch on that has been stressed a little bit earlier is the fact that you're never at any point in your college career going to be too old to change your major. Don't be afraid. It's one of those things where you don't have to make a decision, when you're 17, 18 years old as to what you're going to do for the rest of your life. you can always move back and forth. So don't be afraid of that decision. It's not as stressful as you may think it is right now.
I'll just jump in. So I actually was open options also when I came in TCNJ. Prior to college, I really hadn't considered business, honestly. I did come in open options, but the first almost 3.5 years of high school, I was really narrow focused on studying pre-med, which is kind of a polar opposite to business. So I thought I was going to either major in bio or chem and then go on to med school. And I thought life would be great if I chose that path, but obviously that's not the path I'm on today. So I came in and I chose open options business. And as Matt and Megan both said, I took the 201 classes and I really started to look at different career paths within the majors and what would interest me the most and fit with my strengths. So I'm someone who really likes writing, and it's been something I've liked for a really long time. And being able to pair that with the quantitative skills you get in mathematical courses and accounting courses really appealed to me. But I knew that wasn't probably the area I wanted to focus in. So for that reason, I chose management because I really liked all the management classes I took. And I decided to focus on human resources for that reason.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So we have a question in the chat about like the business administration degree programs. So business administration is kind of the umbrella name for it, but really you get a strong concentration in finance if you're a finance major or marketing major or management, or if you do the interdisciplinary, you do have to take some more courses outside of business, depending on how you plan that out with your faculty advisor. So you have a strong emphasis. I don't want to give the impression that you don't. There is a nice benefit though, within the business administration degree programs is that you're going to take an intro level management class, finance, information systems, technology, and marketing. And then you do take breadth courses. We call them the business breadth requirements in each of those areas. And then you can choose which upper level class you want to take for a full unit. So a full 4-credit class. So if you're looking at, even if you're a marketing major, you still have to take an upper level finance class or the information systems class. So you really have a nice breadth within your degree program, but you're still going to have a really strong strong concentration, which in any of those paths that you choose. And you also have your major capstone in that area. So if you're like a marketing major, you take a marketing capstone specific to marketing. It's called marketing management. You also have the option to do a thesis within any of the degree programs. So if you have a very specific interest in a certain topic within your major, you could pursue that as well. And that would be great if you're thinking of graduate school, is to do the thesis option, depending on what kind of grad degree program you would do. The economic students have to do a thesis. They often do go to grad school at some point. You don't have to, but they're required to do a thesis. Do we have another question in here? Okay, for internships, are they mostly year-round or are they usually during the summer? A lot of options with internships. We also have a really strong co-op program with Johnson & Johnson, so it's almost like a full-time job. You can get credit for internships. You can get up to 3 units or like 3 classes of internship credit. For 1 internship, you can have up to 2 units of credit to count towards your required graduation total. So internships, some of them might be in the summer, some of them might be fall, spring. Mentors, do you want to jump on that with any internship experiences you've had?
Yeah, I can. So I started interning for Novo Nordisk in following my sophomore year, and had a great few months in the summer doing a summer internship. And then I actually got asked to stay on and completed a co-op for the remainder of the school year, both the fall and spring semester following. TCNJ has a really cool program where in some cases you can actually count, as Mary referred to earlier, you can count your co-op as credits. So I wasn't working full time, but I was, balancing a whole course load while maintaining a part-time 20-hour-a-week job. So again, there's flexibility in your schedule. When things count for courses, it allows that flexibility. So it's really just up to what companies are offering and what you feel is the best fit for you.
Anyone else want to add to that? Thanks, Megan.
Yeah, and like, given this whole environment and all of Zoom and everything, it makes everything easier when it comes to doing an internship while you're also taking classes, because now some of these companies are going to revert to kind of this online internship. So and historically, like previously before this, when you might have to commute somewhere, that's why the summer internship was more common. But I'm seeing now that there are a lot more opportunities for both the semesters. In addition to co-ops, like there's also internships where you can take them in the spring. But I would say majority of the focus is still kind of on that summer internship, especially when you're younger in your college years. But like Megan said, the co-ops and everything still exist.
Thank you so much, Matt. We had a question about going into consulting and different companies that come to campus and do info sessions and whatnot. I'm going to put a link in the chat. If you're watching this from the recording, you could certainly, what you want to do is just Google TCNJ This Week's Business. So every Sunday, an email goes out to all of the School of Business students, and it tells you all about different events that are happening, including any kind of info sessions or recruiters coming to campus. We also have guest speakers come to classes, just different events. We just had our Mayo Business Plan competition. So this week's business is your go-to to find out what's going on within the School of Business, also some things outside of the School of Business, which recruiters are going to be on campus. The Career Center utilizes a platform called Handshake. And that's where you can go. You have a profile in there, kind of looks like LinkedIn in some ways, but that's where you can go in and apply for internships and different leadership opportunities, things like that, externships with different companies. And you can even set up an interview with them through Handshake. That's the platform that we use for that. So it's really, really helpful. So I want you just to be able to have that link so that you can go and look those up so you can really see who's coming to campus. We also have a year out survey that the Career Center does that can show you exactly where our students are going. So it's a year out after graduation. So that gives a lot of different company information and salary information, things like that. So I would definitely say check that out. I don't want to miss any questions. Someone asked if it was going to be recorded. Yes, it's going to be recorded. So I'll make sure, I'll email it out to everybody and it'll be through admissions. It'll be available. Let me see. Would you recommend taking finance and computer science? So that's kind of a common question we get. That is a good combination to have. You don't have to do that. I always tell students, take that first computer science class, CSC 220, to see if you enjoy it and if it's a good fit. We do also offer within School of Business information systems technology. That's another popular minor that some students will combine with finance as well. So computer science is an option, but then there's other things too. But it depends on what clicks for you and what you want to do. So it's a great skill set to have if it's something that you want to pursue, but that could be a good option. And these are the kinds of conversations, I'm glad they're being asked now. These are the kinds of conversations that we would have in advising appointments, and you might talk to your peer mentor about as well. Do we have any other questions right now? Okay, I think we got everything in the chat. So I'm going to throw another one to our peer mentors. So I didn't tell them these questions ahead of time, so I'm just throwing them curveballs left and right. How did the three of you decide on TCNJ? What were some of the factors that went into it? And then how did you land at TCNJ? Whoever wants to go first.
So I can start on this one. So when I was choosing college, I think the most important factor was obviously having a college that had strong academics. And TCNJ definitely has that. TCNJ is really a fantastic place to go to school. And I really, looking back, would not have wanted to go to any other school I applied to when I was in your position 2 years ago. I think TCNJ is a really good place to choose to go to school because it's a really collaborative environment. So you'll always have people in your classes who are willing to help you with assignments or work on group projects together. And you'll also have a lot of opportunities to interact with them outside of class. And we also, just to add to that, we have a lot of business school organizations plus organizations outside of the School of Business that you can get involved with. And all of those are really, really helpful to your college experience and also can help you decide what you do or might not want necessarily to major in.
Yeah, I think Annetta touched on a lot of points and reasons why I picked TCNJ, but a perfect reason is for me as well was just the class size and just the personal relationships you have with professors, assistant deans and whatnot. I have a funny story, but just I feel like if I went to a big school, I wouldn't be able to. The other day, I was buying my first car, and since I haven't graduated yet, I'm not technically a graduate. So I couldn't get like the graduate deal. I'm like, I promise I'm graduating. Like I'm starting work in June. Like, please just give me, this discount. And so it was as simple as sending an email to the assistant dean of school of business and her getting back to me that same night, writing a letter like, yes, I'm speaking on Megan's behalf. I promise you she's graduating. So just, I think that personal relationship is just priceless. So that's why I feel like TCNJ is a very special place.
Yeah, both of them hit on pretty much everything. It's a great place. So many good friends. I actually have a long lineage of graduates from the College of New Jersey. Both my parents went. My brother's currently a freshman. And right from the get-go, I think I emailed Mary. She always tells the story. I emailed Mary before I even got into the school. Or no, I guess I got into the school, but before I decided. And right away, I was like, all right, this is the place to be. And from everyone I know, you never know anyone that transfers out. You only know people that transfer in. Like, I don't think I know anyone that's transferred out. So I just think it just goes to show how great of a school it is and touches on everything kind of Annetta and Megan have talked about. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, I remember when you came and hung out with me, Matt. Good stuff. I can't believe you're graduating. So yeah, and we want to help you kind of figure out, because normally we'd be on campus, at least we have Zoom. So I'm glad we get to connect this way to see if it's a good fit for you. It might be what you're looking for. It might not be what you're looking for, but these are some of the things I think that kind of draw people to TCNJ. Definitely that smaller campus community. The average class size is around 27 students, aside from our bigger orientation seminar classes. But those are some of the things that I think kind of bring people to TCNJ. So we have another question about if you would end up with so you would get a Bachelor of Science is technically the degree. And then you could put, it's business administration, finance, but like our students would put on their resume just finance, if that makes sense. You don't have to put business administration finance. It's a finance degree program, but that's like the umbrella name for it, just to clarify on that. Keep the questions coming in the chat. We're happy to answer them. Here we go. Do you feel like the courses you've taken help strengthen your public speaking skills? I'm just going to put it. Yeah, we have. Go ahead, Matt.
Go. You could talk about O'Grady.
Okay, you knew I was going to talk about Sean O'Grady. Okay, so what we do in our freshman seminar class or orientation seminar, the past 2 years, we have had one of our alumni come back. He's also an alum from the School of the Arts and Communication, and then he also did a major within business, so he was a double major. But Professor O'Grady comes back. He worked with the peer mentors over the summer with their public speaking, and then he also worked with them to help facilitate a session in our orientation seminar with our freshmen. We especially wanted to hit on that in the Zoom environment from this past fall and kind of hone in on what it's like to be public speaking on Zoom. So Professor O'Grady was amazing. And he also will go visit like the Entrepreneurship Club. He's spoken with them. He's also gone to the School of the Arts and Communication, of course. They invite him too, but that's something that we feel is really important. So that's in our orientation seminar. I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to the mentors to address it in their other academic classes. So Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I never took O'Grady's class. I kind of wish I had, but I know so many people that have. And there's so many different tips about public speaking that you don't think about, but he'll give you that knowledge, and then you can go into an environment and be able to publicly speak. Also, yeah, pretty much in every class, you're going to do a group presentation at the end or a presentation by yourself at the end. So I remember my first presentation I had to give was in I think marketing, it was like marketing 201 class. And I remember being so nervous because there was a lot of like seniors and upperclassmen. But, as the years go on, you keep doing these and it becomes like second nature. In addition, getting involved. I know the peer mentor program, as you see, like we've all had the opportunity to speak in front of whether it be incoming freshmen or even people of our own class. And just doing that on a weekly basis has helped so much with my public speaking skills. Sorry.
I was honestly going to say something pretty similar, so I won't take a lot of time, but I think the classes that we take in business really do emphasize, presentational skills and public speaking skills. And then also getting involved with different organizations. Like I mentioned before, I'm the president of the Society for Human Resource Management. So that's like a HR management specific club. We also have clubs for every major pretty much. So accounting has their own club, economics, and all their majors, marketing, don't want to leave any out. But essentially, so once you take a leadership position, you do presentations or you connect with other alumni or speakers. And so all of those experiences together really have helped me and also others develop their public speaking skills.
We also have, oh, Megan, you go ahead.
No, I was literally going to say Matt and Annetta hit on everything. So we're good.
We have a class too taught out of marketing called professional selling. So it counts as one of those upper level marketing classes. So even if you're like a management major, you could take professional selling or finance, whatever, as one of your degree requirements. So students will intentionally take that class to help them with their public speaking as well. So there are some classes within the curriculum that you could take like that. But yeah, a lot of it, you got to put yourself out there and volunteer. I put the peer mentors, I put them on the spot all the time within Business 99 and whatnot, and doing presentations like these and Q&A and stuff. So there's a lot of opportunity out there. You have to put yourself out there and do it. Yeah. Okay. Do we have any? We're good on the questions in the chat. Again, feel free, keep them coming. We still have about 20 minutes, so feel free to ask any questions. We want to make sure that we answer any questions you have. You can also email me as well if you want to. But I know this is a difficult decision to make, especially given this environment. So please let us know if you have any questions so we can help you decide, if this would be a good fit for you or not. I want to ask the peer mentors, do you have any specific classes that were memorable to you that you took? Anything that really stuck with you, or any independent study? I don't know if anyone took the student investment fund in here. Nobody took that one. Or any classes like that, like, what was your favorite class? If you think back, what were some of your favorites? I really got them thinking with this one. I like to joke that it's Business 99 and Business 100 were their favorite classes. Thanks, Megan. I see your head nodding.
Honestly, that's a good one though, because I think that Business 99, I think college is a lot about whether you take advantage of your resources or not. And I think Business 99 is a perfect course that lays out all your resources and kind of says, here's the key to success. And if you're going to take advantage of these, then you're going to do really, really well in our school and, potentially find an internship and potentially have a job before you graduate. So I think that's a good one, Mary. Another favorite class of mine was advertising with Dr. Breckman. I just thought it was a really interesting class, and I definitely enjoy my finance courses, but I also enjoy my marketing courses. And it was right around the time of the Super Bowl, so it was fun kind of analyzing all of the Super Bowl commercials, and that's just one of my favorites off the top of my head. But there have been a bunch that I've really enjoyed. Some are a little harder than others, but some I've really, really enjoyed.
I would just jump in and say I really liked cross-cultural management. I took that with Professor Carbonilla, and it was a really good class. And so basically what we did at the end of the class was we worked with a team of about 5 or 6 people to develop a presentation and also write a final paper about what we would do if we were to prepare an expatriate, which is essentially an American employee who would be sent to a foreign country that they haven't been to before, to be fully equipped, to be comfortable working there, and also assimilating to culture. So that was a really interesting project. Before taking the class and at the beginning of the class, I really didn't think that was something that I would be doing. So early on, I took that class my first year actually. And it was a really eye-opening experience. And it was also really interesting and kind of gave me more of an idea into what I might want to do. So multiple benefits.
Yeah, I have a few. I was also going to say cross-cultural management. Although that same project that Annetta was talking about actually costed me $120 because I made a call to Peru that I didn't know was not in my phone plan. So when you take that class, remember that. But also, shout out to Dr. Choi, the real estate class. Real estate valuation was a great class. It was really eye-opening and something that I've never seen before, kind of tailored to a different industry that isn't really focused on in the core business classes. Also, I'm taking currently kind of a senior level, not senior level, but it's like an upper level class. It's called Hedge Fund and Private Placement with Dr. Thomas Patrick. I know it's kind of like a free elective type finance class, and that's also very interesting. You learn a lot about that kind of industry, even though I'm not actually going into that industry. They're really cool to learn about, something to have in your repertoire. Maybe later down the road, you might end up in a situation like that. So I would say those three really stood out.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Feel free to, if you have any questions outside of academics that you want to ask, you've got 3 students on here who can definitely address them. If you want to talk about food, we can talk about food or anything on campus. If you want to ask about, some res life questions, residential education questions, we could certainly address those as well. And if we don't have the answers, you can always email me and we'll definitely make sure that you get those answers as well. So feel free to ask anything in that chat. I don't think we have anything else. We'll just keep our eyes out. We just want to make sure we answer everything that you have. So we'll just kind of start to wrap up. If you have another question, please put it in the chat for sure. But I want to ask the peer mentors, what advice would you give someone who is currently doing their college search? You can sit on it for a second. I see Matt's thinking really hard right now. Or what advice, if you could go back in time, what advice would you give yourself for when you were doing it?
It feels like forever ago. That's why I'm thinking so hard.
I would probably say, I can start. So I would probably say just be open-minded about the whole process. Take time to think about your decision, and just be open-minded when you get to wherever you go. And hopefully that is TCNJ, but be open-minded your whole first year about your major, the classes you take and the clubs you join, but also really invest in meeting people, because it's going to be really helpful if you can make a lot of friends your first semester and going into your second semester as well. Just get to know a lot of people. And also when you're looking for a college, hopefully you do choose a college that's like the best fit for you. I know that's kind of a term that's thrown around a lot, but really take time if you can visit the campus or talk to professors or people like Mary. That would be really helpful. And also just consider all the resources you have available to you, and also consider your program and how you really envision yourself at the school you might want to go to. So that would be my advice. But good luck with your decision. And I'll be happy to put my email in the chat if anyone's interested in reaching out.
Thanks, Annetta. Really, like what Annetta just said, I meet with students all the time who come in who are so stressed out about what am I going to major in? And it's really just important to kind of personalize it. Sometimes you go to like whatever Thanksgiving meal and family, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And really, it's just thinking about the things that you enjoy and what you don't enjoy and what you want to be getting out of your job. Do you have any values or skills you want to put to use within your job? So I'm glad Annetta mentioned that. Keep an open mind and stay positive and put yourself out there. All right, passing it off to another mentor. Who wants to go? Megan's going to go.
All right. Just to reiterate a lot of what Annetta said, I think coming in open-minded is really important. I think embracing the change. High school and college are very, very different. Not necessarily in a good or bad way. They're just different. So be ready for that transition. Peer mentors are a perfect resource that are going to help you through that transition, so you're not alone. And then my third thing would be just don't feel pressure that you need to have everything figured out. It's going to come with time. It's going to come with you being in college, whatever college you choose, hopefully TCNJ, as Annetta said. But just don't worry, don't stress. I know sometimes, my parents were a little bit not pushy, but definitely I felt some pressure to, what major do you want to do? Are you sure you want to go in Undeclared? And I'm like, yes, I do want to do this. I know I want business, but I'm not sure specifically what. So just don't stress and embrace change. And I'll also throw my email in below.
Yep, they hit on everything. And I'm going to stick with what I talked about before. Don't be afraid to change. If you go in and it's not the right place for you, most colleges are all going to have the same kind of breadth courses in the beginning. You can just transfer. It's never, the end of the world. So that's something I wish I would have told myself, because I remember being really extremely stressed out with the whole process. And you're however old you are in high school, you got high school to worry about, and now everything's online, additional pressure, and you're just kind of stressed out. Just relax, roll with the punches, and you'll eventually end up in the right place. I promise. That's my advice.
Thank you so much, everyone. So you can see in the chat, we're putting our email addresses in there. Definitely wherever you end up going, just make sure you connect with people for sure. Make sure you build your network. You're going to have a lot of support, I'm sure, in any institution that you attend. If you come to TCNJ, please come and meet with me. The three of our peer mentors, they came and met with me like every semester. We talked about things beyond academics. A lot of the times we'll just close the door and I'll have students just kind of vent if you need to. I'm here to support you. And even now I'm here to support you because I know, again, this could be a stressful decision for you. And I respect that. And I want you to feel supported. So even if you want to set up like a one-on-one Zoom meeting with me, we can certainly do that. I'm happy to do that and kind of sort out what you're thinking. And help you with the decision. I'm not going to pressure you to go to TCNJ. We'd love to have you. But if you have some more questions, you need to hash it out with someone, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is furtadom@tcnj.edu, and we could set something up, or we can just exchange a few emails. So congratulations to all of you on your acceptance to TCNJ. I'm going to hang back for a few minutes. I'm going to stop recording now, but please feel free to reach out, hang back if you want to chat at all.